You've seen +1/+1 counter decks before, but what if your commander made a giant hamster and threw it directly at your opponent's face for damage and card draw? That's what Minsc Boo do best, and once the hamsters start flying, the table starts crying. Hi everyone, I'm Philharmonicon and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most chaotic, hilarious, and surprisingly powerful +1/+1 counter commanders in Gruul. He's the lovable ranger with his furry companion. It's Minsc Boo, Timeless Heroes. And if you love cute hamsters, turning your creatures into absolute monsters and then throwing them at an opponent, this deck is for you. Minsc Boo is a 4-mana planeswalker commander for 2 colorless, 1 red, and 1 green. When Minsc enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you create Boo, a legendary 1/1 red hamster with trample and haste. Minsc comes in with 3 loyalty and has 2 abilities. He's +1, puts 3 +1/+1 counters on 1 target creature with trample or haste. And he's -2, lets you sacrifice a creature. When you do, Minsc deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. And if that creature was a hamster, you draw that many cards. So what this means is, you make Boo, buff Boo, then you throw Boo. And if Boo is big enough, you not only deal a massive chunk of damage, you refill your hand at the same time. It's simple, it's brutal, and honestly, it's kinda cute. The overall strategy here is super straightforward. First, we set up ways to grow our creatures with +1/+1 counters. Then, we drop Minsc Boo and start scaling our board, making bigger and bigger threats. And finally, we win when we convert all that power into damage by flinging creatures straight at our opponents. It's less about combat and more about turning your creatures into ammunition. So let's start with the core of the deck, building up counters. Forgotten Ancient quietly grows every time anyone casts a spell, then redistributes those counters whenever you need them. Taurine Mauler and Mana Gorger Hydra play a similar role minus the distribution, constantly scaling as the game progresses. Yes please. Then we've got Alana and Elena, partners, who turns every one of your combat step into a massive stat boost for another creature. Grumgully the Generous ensures your creatures enter bigger than expected, while Colonian Hydra just starts taking over games by doubling counters every time it attacks. Defiler of Vigor adds counters across your board just for playing your game, and it even helps you discount mana on green permanents. Bristly Bull, Spinesower, and Mossborn Hydra both reward you for playing lands, something you are already doing. Bristly Bull even doubles counters. And then there's Vigor, which turns incoming damage into even more counters, making your board incredibly difficult to deal with. And finally, cards like Goldvein Hydra and Thundering Raiju give you both scaling power and additional value, whether that's treasures or extra counters and damage. Now, once we're making counters, we want cards that care about counters. Hardened Scales and Ozolith, the Shattered Spire, quietly increase every counter you place. Ozolith even lets you place more counters every turn. Branching Evolution just straight up doubles every counter we place. Innkeeper's Talent adds counters, protects your creatures, and eventually doubles your output when you upgrade it fully. And then we've got the Ozolith, which is incredible here, letting you recover all those counters from creatures you fling or lose along the way, and lets you reuse those counters later. Champion of Lamball makes your board impossible to block as it grows bigger. Evolution Sage proliferates your counters just by playing lands. And then Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider, is here too. It's scary, it's powerful, it will get removed. But while it's around, things get out of control very quickly. Since we're flinging creatures, we want them to hit hard. Xenagos, God of Revels, doubles one creature's power every combat until end of turn. Unnatural Growth does the same for your entire board. And then we've got spells like Invigorating Surge and Fangs of Calonia, which places a +1/+1 counter and then doubles all counters on the creature. Fangs overloads to do it across your whole team. And for pure power doubling, bulk up and unleash fury, turn any creature into a one-shot threat. This is how we go from that creature's big to someone just got eliminated. Now, Minsc Boo already give us card draw when we fling Boo, but we want even more consistency. Terra Symbiosis is honestly insane here. Every time he plays counters, well, once each turn, you draw that many cards. That means Minsc's +1 could easily draw you 3 cards per turn, minimum. Inspiring Call rewards a wide board with counters spread around. Court of Garenbrig gives you Monarch value and counter doubling. Return of the Wild Speaker and Rishkar's Expertise both scale to your biggest creature, usually Boo, and then refills your hand. Tribute to the World Tree gives you either cards or counters depending on what you play. Thickest in the Thicket gives you both scaling power and consistent card draw if you're ahead. And of course, if budget allows, the Great Henge does everything this deck wants: ramps, counters, and card draw. In this deck, interaction often looks like removing a player entirely. We've got Fling, Kazul's Fury, and Self-Destruct for redundancy with Minsc's second ability, nuking opponents' life totals. Soul's Fire is really nice since it doesn't require sacrificing the creature, meaning you can double fling the creature later. Chandra's Ignition turns your biggest creature into a board-wide problem. And Ram Through gives you removal that can still push through damage thanks to Trample. Then we've got the MDFC lands like Kalani Ambush, Bridgeworks Battle, and Stump Stomp. Flexible interaction when you need it, and lands when you don't. And of course, we round things out with staples like Beast Within, Chaos Warp, and Blasphemous Act. To keep everything running smoothly, we've got some synergistic ramp options. Kami of Whispered Hopes doubles as a mana dork and a counter enhancer. Kodoma of the West Tree gives your modified creatures trample and ramps you when they connect. Incubation Druid and Fanatic of Ronus scale their mana productions as your creatures grow. And Rishkapa Pima Renegade turns your entire board into mana dorks. Then of course, we've got the classic 2-mana ramp package, Rampant Growth, Nature's Law, Farseek, and Friends, just to make sure we hit Minsc ahead of curve. And now, a few lands that really shine. Kessig Wolfrun gives Trample and extra power, perfect for pushing through damage or setting up a fling. Khan's Bastion lets you proliferate in the late game. Draneth Runes helps buff Boo immediately the turn it enters. And Bonder's Enclave gives you a little extra card draw when you've got a big creature, which you almost always will. Minsc Boo are just ridiculously fun. There's something uniquely satisfying about building up a massive hamster, launching it at someone for lethal, drawing a fresh hand, and then doing it all over again. Just keep in mind, once your opponents see what your deck does, they will hold up removal, so timing is everything. Sometimes the correct play is to fling the hamster right away. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more synergy-focused Commander content. And if you'd like to support the channel further and help shape future videos, memberships are available. And hey, if you're picking up any of these cards, consider using my TCG Player affiliate link down below. And until next time, may all your hamsters go for the eyes.